Hello, is it audible?
Yes, sir, audible.
Yes. Hello, sir. Hello, all. This is Mahesh Kumawat, and today I'm just going to talking about some, what, your descriptions and what I'm going to review your, what informations and security which I'm going to provide information some time ago, and also going to review your informations about the networking, applications, cloud security, and system security, and so many things. So in the previous class, if you have remember that we have talking about some cloud security, we have done 40 slides, okay, and we will going to go for it, no problem whatsoever. But before we going to do, we have to do some, what, performance reviews, all sort of things, so that you where are you stand right now and what you're going to perform it, and you just going to know that which informations, where are you going to lacking the informations, and we will going to provide informations as per you like it. Okay, I would like to go for your weakest zone, and then I will going to provide the informations provided in the classes as per your in your weakest zones. So I will just going to understand from your point of view, one by one. Give me your names, and then what is your weakest things that you suggest, sir? We are, what, good in networking, but we I have to work on the application security part, or cloud security part, or wireless security part, or this mobile device management part, or your bring your own device, like email security solution sort of things. So which things are you going to prefer first, and which is your weakest zone and which is your strength zones? I would like to know that.
Hello, sir. I'm Ramamurthy.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Actually, I'm related to networking, sir. But to be precise, routing and switching. So, I'm slightly strong in routing, switching sort of things, and have a slight knowledge over the firewalls. So, which is also comes under the some network engineering, I think. So those regions I'm slightly strong, but in case of other things like cloud application or web securities and other things, I don't have any knowledge since I haven't worked in those regions. I don't have any knowledge regarding those things, sir. And particularly, I don't have any uh, coding skills like Java, C, C++, Python. Those things I don't have any knowledge, sir. Even though I have done some basic C and C++ codings in our semester exams. After that, I'm not in touch with that, so I lag in those regions. Whereas uh, I have knowledge on Verilog coding, sir, which comes under EC VLSI, which I have worked previously. So these are the strength and weakness of myself, sir. Apart from that, since I belong to that ECE category, some of the technical terms also a lag in case of this security sort of things, cyber security application, or it may be a cloud or whatever it may be, sir. Apart from network, I'm lagging in those regions, sir.
Okay, perfect, wonderful. So, Jijo, could you please describe yourself and which is your weakest and your strength thing, so that I can plan yourself that where I have to, what, provide emphasize on the training.
Sir, actually, from my side, I'm from triple background. As I told you before, I'm from a triple background, and moreover, right now I'm working in security industry. Security means it's completely based on surveillance. Okay, it is
Okay.
what we say. We do configuration networking, means network. We will be helping our customers to add our device in their network, and some kind of networking stuff like TCP, IP, headers kind of stuff. I know those things, and as well as DHCP configuration, DNS and DDNS. and such kind of things. Networking part, more or less, I know I'm bit aware of what almost all the things. FTP as kind of how this mail configuration, SMTP protocols, and some knowledge of DSS, if you know DSS, and as well as NAS configurations. Okay, means how do we send our packets of data to NAS? So such kind of configurations I know, and as I have already done some like YouTube courses or something like that, you can say. So I have little knowledge about this ethical hacking. Okay, the tools, what kind of tools, Wireshark and Nmap kind of stuff. And apart from, and then as we learned, I have some knowledge, not practical experience, some knowledge from the cloud security, which you have completed some part of it. So what kind of stuff is going on, and moreover this SOC and knock, those their operations and so on. So and that's it. When you ask some questions, if I'm aware about such kind of things, I will be able to tell you. As well as I don't know about infrastructure, so on things, as Ramurthy has mentioned, the selection of devices kind of stuff. I don't know. Actually, where I'm lacking is kind of infrastructure. If any company need to purchase or need to initialize the security kind of stuff, means what are the things they need to do, firewall configurations, okay, selection of IDS and IPS, how those things works, okay, such kind of things I'm lacking. And I'm trying to day by day, I'm learning some kind of Linux stuff as well. So I will be able to make it up. I hope so, sir.
Okay, wonderful. No problem whatsoever. We have another member like Praneeth Reddy.
Hello everyone. I'm Praneeth. Sir, regarding that, actually, I have spoken you 20 minutes back, but I would say that regarding security, I have no idea. As I said, one of my friend recommended to do ISO 27001 course. So I have done that course in Udemy. And so regarding security, and I have gone through your previous lectures regarding CIA triad.
Okay.
Which you, in the first lecture, I think so, that you were mentioning about that CIA triad, which I already in ISO 2001 course. And apart from this, I have done a CCNA course. So only this two, and in my masters, I did. I said I did my masters in networking. So in my masters, basically we have internet protocols, regarding internet protocols, BGP, IGP, basic switching lab, basic routing lab, and basic telecommunications, incident response, forensics, and MPLS, and that's it. But regarding security, I don't have any knowledge. Regarding firewalls, also I have nil knowledge, because I didn't learn regarding firewalls anywhere, and I didn't even learn scripting also. I mean, shell scripting or Linux. Apart, I mean, there is no. I mean, I did not do any course regarding Linux. I mean, I did course in RHCE, but I did not write the examination. But I know the basics of Red Hat Linux.
Okay, no problem. Okay, that's wonderful. So, guys, this is, you know what, the pictures you have seen right now in front of your screen, security certifications progression chart 2020. I have already shown to the guys like Damamurthy and the Jijo as well. So you are the new one. So just take a look from here, so that it is a security engineering is one of them domain. Like you said about right now, you have knowledge about the CCNA, CCNP, MPLS, BGP. So that sort of things comes to the picture into the Cisco platform, right? As the security engineering platform. So whatever you know that about the MPLS or BGP, OSPF, these are the routing protocols. and routing protocols comes under CCN and CCNP enterprise. It's the new certifications comes to the picture right now in the CCNP level. So, and CCNA 2.0 is a new version of CCNA. So you guys have background about the Cisco platform like CCNA, CCNP things, that. Okay, like CCN is there. What about the network security is just one of them. So network security it is like your gateway level security, like your firewalls. Okay, so in the firewalls we have different vendors available in the market, right? If somebody will going to ask you that what is the next generation firewall, so you can say that sir, next generation firewall is Palo Alto is one of the leading contender of the uh, next generation firewall. Okay, and you can also refer the Gartner report. In the Gartner report is going to suggest that we have some firewall vendors firewalls like Palo Alto, Checkpoint, Juniper, FortiGate. So these are some firewall names that you can going to provide. These are the next generation firewalls. So once we talking about some what network security point of view, right? And it's a layer 3 device, right? Because these things are working on the network layer. Okay, the packet filtering things gonna be working. Okay, application filtering, network filtering, IDS, IPS. Okay, and you're going to provide some high availability same time antivirus management sort of thing is also from their network security platform. So network security is a platform like gateway level security is one of the major concerns for the company to procurement of the gateway, because the traffic is coming from outside to inside. Okay, and you need to deploy some firewall or you need to deploy some routers. But in the previous 10 years back or 5 years back, if you just take a look that the people are going to implement some routers and we need to provide some access control list, ACL. Okay, so ACL access control, this is going to be allow and deny the traffic as per the requirement. But the network security, if you're talking about like UTM, Unified Threat Management, the firewall is comes to the picture. The firewalls, this is the layer 7 number of devices of the firewall. So what I can say that layer 7 devices because it is going to be packet filtering till layer 7. If you're talking about some legacy firewalls in the previous 5 years or 10 years back, firewalls comes to the picture, different vendors was available, so they are only layer 4 firewalls. Up to the network, up to the transport layer, they are going to filter the traffic. But right now, up to the application layer, the firewalls, the gateway level security comes to the picture. So as a cybersecurity professional, cybersecurity architect, you need to be understand the network security point of view very well. Okay, so it is one of the what network security if you're talking about, if you're going to do some network penetration testing and vulnerability assessment sort of things. So the network security is one of the major concerns for you to understand it. Okay, so if you're talking about some firewalls, okay, so Palo Alto firewalls, FortiGate firewalls, Checkpoint firewalls, Juniper firewalls, we have some different certifications like JNCIE, JNCIP, PCNSC. This is the JNCIP is your Juniper firewall, PCNSC your Palo Alto firewall. Okay, so we have different what firewalls comes to the pictures. It's we can say that it's a gateway level security, and it is going to be filter the packets. Okay, coming from outside to inside and inside to outside. Okay, and we're going to configure some application filtering, content filtering. Okay, and we're also going to do some IDS, intrusion detection systems, intrusion prevention systems. Okay, and we need to what providing some what security and alerts, monitoring sort of things, that what is the things packets will be going on. We have some zones available, right? The LAN zones, WAN zones, demilitarized zones, DMZ zones is there. How the packets will be going inside and outside. So it is going to filter your packets, okay, and providing the informations to your security administrators how things gonna working. So if you're going for anywhere for the cyber security or if you're network security professionals, they will going to ask you the question regarding what firewalls, which firewalls you have worked in now and what you know about the firewalls. Okay, so number of opportunities, number of what jobs available into the network security. If you know that Juniper firewalls or Palo Alto firewall, Checkpoint firewall, anyone, FortiGate is one of them also. Okay, and then if you're talking about some Linux platforms, so RHCA, RHCE, Kali Linux, Parrot systems. Okay, So these are some different platform of the operating systems. This is the open source platforms. You just find it out. So we have some different type of certifications available in the market for that head. If we talking about some Windows platforms, so we have MCSs was there. So in the previous time you have seen that 2003 server, 2018 16 servers available right now, 2020 servers available. So this is a Windows platform, like you need to create some DSCP server, FTP servers, web servers on the Windows platform. So we need to be understanding about all those Windows platform, like how the Windows 10 is gonna be working, how the what Windows Server 2003 or 2016 server is going to be working. Okay, but right now, what the things are going to be changed as per the time. Okay, in the modern time, if you're talking about some cloud ops or sysops comes to the picture. So what happened into this, the cloud platform like AWS, like Azure platform, like Google Cloud, GCP. Okay, so we have different cloud vendors available in the market. So if you would like to making your career into the cloud, you will go for the AWS, you will have to go for this Azure cloud computing or Google Cloud. And as a security point of view, as a cyber security point of view, you should be very good into the cyber in the cloud security point of view. So in the previous slides, in the previous class, we have talking about some different type of models, different type of deployment models we talking about. Okay, and types of clouds we talking about: private cloud, hybrid cloud, public cloud. Okay, IaaS, PaaS, SaaS. We have gone some examples as well. We have gone some cyber security, NIST, cloud sort of things. We have also checked it out. So you have different options available, my dear friends. Like you can go for the cloud computing security operations. You will have to go for some RHCA or Linux platforms. You can go for the layer 2 or layer 3 security, like talking about in the layer 2 security, like your switch level security. So if you guys have understanding about the switching platform, like you can going to be create some VLANs. You can going to create some port security on the switch level. You can going to be create some ether channels on the Cisco platforms, in the switching platforms. Okay, you will have to go for some MAC binding into the switches. So as a security professionals, you should be very good understanding about the different vendors, about the routers, switches, firewalls, Windows, Linux platform, and cloud security platforms. So the matter of fact that, guys, if I'm talking about how you're going to be starting it, that you can going to be start with A plus, the network plus. So the basic understanding about your hardware, basic understanding about the networking platform. So you're just going to be understand then CCNA, CCNP, or the firewalls, like different firewalls. So this is all comes under the security engineering. So most of the guys are working on this platform like security engineering. Okay, because you guys are getting a job from the firewalls, you guys getting job from the CCNA after doing it, you guys getting a job after the Linux platforms, you guys are getting a job from Windows or cloud operation sort of things. But the in the security platform, we have some different security platforms available in the market, right? As a cybersecurity person or a cybersecurity consultant, the forensic investigations person, you should be expert into the offensive security and the defensive operations as well. So what does it mean by defensive operations and offensive operations? So first of all, it is going to be categorized into different teams. Okay, so red team, blue team, and gray team. So these teams are doing some different type of work. The red team are going to do attack, different type of attacks they will going to do it. Okay, so the example like the license penetration tester, LPT is the certifications. So how do you make your career into the security? So you can going to be create some certified ethical hacking. First of all, you need to understand some network plus networking basic knowledge, competitive plus networking knowledge. Then you will have to go for some CES, certified ethical hacking. Then you will go for the computer hacking forensic investigations. Then you will go for the LPT, license penetration tester. So the step-by-step sort of things. And there are different certifications available in the market in the security point of view. But which is the best and why we going to do it? Suppose I am talking about the Parneet. Okay, the Parneet is going to be do some ISO 27000. So if you just take a look into all of them in the security point of view, where it is going to be stand, there's nothing is mentioned over there. But the matter of fact that if the person is going to do some CISA, Certified Information System Auditor, Certified Information System Manager, Certified Information System Security Professional. So CSP, CISM, CISA, these are some advanced certifications you can going to do it. So what they going to suppose you guys are doing the CISSP. So the security management, security architecture, and security analysis. The all three domains are going to be covered into the CISSP. It's very toughest exam. If you're talking about some management program, suppose you are good in technical, somebody's have experience on the management side. So security management, you will go for the CISM or CISA. These are some advanced certifications you will have to go for it. No problem with this whatsoever. And then we have some different sort of ITL, TOGAF, COBIT. We have different certifications going to be go for it. Okay, so as a security platform, you guys need to be understand some of defensive operations like certified ethical hacking, CHFI. As offensive operations, you will have to go for the license penetration testing. If you have the security architecture, analysis and management, CSSP, CISA, CISM, these are some certifications you will go for it. Apart from this, you should have basic understanding or some advanced understanding about the any languages like Java, Python, or C++ or Perl. So right now the Python is going to be work in the industry. So we will going to go for the Python basic understanding, no problem with this. Okay, so we're going to cover all those. I'm just going to trying to cover each of the domain like security management, architecture, analysis, defensive operations, offensive operations, and security engineering. So we will going to be cover each domain. Okay, in the training. Yes, it is, we can say that it will take lots of time, but it is also required your efforts to doing the things to understand all those things. So this is the what we talking about some different type of certifications. Apart from this, if I'm talking about what type of salary structure you will have to expect yourselves. So this is a corporate, this is technology, this is corporate, MNCs and domestic companies. So suppose you are the guys who are doing some service delivery or IT operations and project management. So you have at least 5 to 10 years experience. How much salary package you will get it? So minimum 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs and 40 lakhs. These are some package salary tables is there. So you can expect to yourself, if you have 5 years to 10 years experience and if you have some minimum package, you should require 20 lakhs package if you are a project management, if you are in the IT operations, if you are the service delivery. CIO and IT director, there is nothing is mentioned because it is depend on the company. Sometimes it is more than 1 crores, sometimes it is more than 50 lakhs. So this is not covered over there. But as an infrastructure, cloud and data centers, you should add at least 20 lakhs package in the data centers. If you're working on the security operation centers, if you're working on the cloud security, if you are the infrastructure head, so this is 20 lakhs. Average salary is 30 lakhs, nearby 30 lakhs, 35 lakhs package will be there. If you are the data centers, if you are a CISO, information security or cyber security. So 25 lakhs, 35 lakhs, 45 lakhs, this is the 5 to 10 years experience. So this is the 12 month salary packages. 10 to 15 years, how much salary package is required? 15 years plus experience, this is one. Okay, 15 plus experience, this is the things will be there. So you can expect that how much requirement. So if you're talking about some cyber security point of view, yes, you require at least 25 lakhs package if you have 5 to 10 years experience exposure into the same. So this is the I have captured this one from, this is 2020. This India salary benchmark is this. I will going to send you with this, so you can just going to be see that yes, where we are
Sir,
right now.
sir, I have one question.
Yes, please go ahead.
Does people look for certifications or experience? Both matters regarding that.
Sir, the experience is required. A certification doesn't, because certification is required when there is a complete requirement. But if you have the experience, you can go for it. No problem with this. But as once you're going for the job description, it will clearly mention that they required CISA, CISM, or CSSP holder. So I'm just going to show you one vacancy. Okay, wait a second. Wait a second. I'm going to show you. Yes. So this is the job descriptions comes to me. Okay, and this is the location is Mumbai locations, right? So what they required it. Just take a look here. So you will be answered to yourself. Please find the job description for the discussion position solution expert in Mumbai location. Okay. So I'm going to say that yes, what we're going to do, what type of knowledge are required. So the position is solution expert. So cybersecurity solution expert the required. This is the L3 position, and experience required in 6 to 9 years, and it's in Mumbai locations. Okay, and once you're talking about them, they require 20 to 30 lakhs. They will easily going to provide you. There is no problem with that. Right now, suppose you are getting 15 lakhs, they will going to provide you 25 to 30 lakhs with this position. Okay, so what they required it, because I'm going to check it out from them. So just take a look here. Understanding of SIM, security incident and event management, its use cases preferably should have worked on Splunk. Okay, so Splunk is one of them. Splunk Phantom is one of the SIM solutions available in the market. So you have basic understanding about the SIM solutions, how things gonna be working. Second, strong knowledge of Linux and Unix. So suppose you are working on a RHCE or Unix or Ubuntu, CentOS, anything, whatever flavor it would be. So you have a strong understanding about the Linux platform. Network troubleshooting analysis and current security threats. So you should be very good into the network troubleshooting approaches, analysis. Okay, and technical solution administration experience is must be in the previous role. So that if you just take a look here, and you have at least require 6 to 9 years experience, you should be very good understanding about the technical exposure. The third is strong Python skills to manage and proven usage of automation in previous experience. So you should be very good into the Python skills. The fourth one, the functional understanding of following technologies, but limited to this: DAM, WAF, IDS, IPS, firewall. So I already suggest you guys that you need to be understand some firewall, SIM solution, UEBA, data like DLP solution, right? Tape, sandboxing solutions. So these are some the trumps you need to be understanding, because this is a security point of view. You need to be understand all those things. Wired equivalent firewalls, intrusion prevention systems, intrusion detection systems, firewalls.
Sir,
Yes, please go ahead.
can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Sir, my question is, see, if we have this certification is important, like if we go for any kind of job in security industry, does the certification is really matters, or how it is? Like
Just
global
look at
certification,
it here.
I mean.
Minimum one security certifications. If you're
So,
going to apply security, you require at least one certifications, like certified ethical hacking or CSFI, GSC, or minimum these certifications. So as a security professionals, first of all, take a training, okay, and understand all those things, and then you secondary is your certifications. First of all, your knowledge, your experience, and secondary part is your certifications. Okay, so most of the companies, if you just take a look here, every companies are required certifications. Okay, but it is not
yeah,
mandatory that they will going to like, if you have a good knowledge about it, so you have what, get the money and you will take a certifications, no problem with this.
okay, fine, fine. I understand,
Okay,
sir. Okay.
it's a
Yes, yes.
secondary part, but the understanding knowledge is required, the first thing. Okay, and if you're talking about some strong understanding of cybersecurity technologies, protocols, and applications, So which protocols they were talking about here? They're talking about some TCP/IP.
TCP/IP, yes.
Okay, the TCP/IP. I am talking about the architecture, the design, the three-way handshake of TCP/IP. If you guys know
Yes.
that, tell me how it is.
Three-way handshake. Let me tell you, sir. Jijo,
Yes, please go ahead.
yes. First, client and client, as well as one will be the server, other one will be the client. Okay. So host one to host two. Sync communication will be done by the client. Okay. When he starts to initiate a ping response. Okay. And it will be incremented by one, and it will be given an acknowledgement from the server side, and likewise another sync plus acknowledgement will be sent to that server again from the client side, as well as another response from the server will be initiated. So that will be the first connection establishment by the client and server. After that, fin command and sync will be initiated, and after acknowledgement, and as well as other fin command as well as acknowledgement will be established, well ending the what we say, ending our data packet transmission. DORA means a discovery and kind of stuff is that. DORA is the process. DORA process we say. I don't know that explanation of those things.
No,
Request.
it's not. It's not DORA, my dear friend. The DORA process is comes to the DHCP, not the
Okay.
TCP/IP.
So ping is the main thing. Sync SYN sync command and acknowledgement will be the establishing first connection establishment for the communication to be start, data to be transferred from client to server, vice versa. I hope so.
Yes. First of all, the sync, then acknowledgement and sync act. The
Yeah.
three things gonna be working. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So the four things you're just talking about the detailed technical experience and the installations, configurations, operation of high-end security solution is a plus, right? So suppose you are guys are working on a firewalls or routers, switches, or any different devices. So the matter of fact that guys you need to be understanding about the installations. Okay, I'm talking about the wireless over there. Okay, suppose the controllers, the access points, okay, and the different type of firewalls. Okay, if I'm talking about the CCTV, if I'm talking about some access control devices, the man traps. Okay, so the configurations like your migrations, how do you going to migrate one firewall to another firewall? If the different models will be there. Okay, the operation high to and security solutions plus, like how we would going to create some high availability devices. What do you understanding about the load balancers? Different type of load balancers come to the market. Okay, so this is all things here is a plus point for you. Excellent written and verbal communications, understanding of threat intelligence and its use cases in cybersecurity domain skills qualifications. So we have some different type of processes, okay, for cybersecurity threat intelligence, and the minimum 5 years of SOC experience. Okay, security operation centers and network operation centers. These are the experience required at least 5 years. Okay, and one of the certifications required like certified ethical hacking, CSFI or CISA, CSSP, okay, and OSCP or whatever, and previous hands-on experience on any source systems. Okay, security orchestrations, automations, response. So SIM solution and SOAR platform, these are some different things. SOAR is an automation, security, orchestrations, automations, response. Okay, and we have different type of vendors like Cyber, Resilient, Phantom, Cortex, earlier is known as Demisto. Okay, so these are some SOAR platform, threat intelligence SOAR platforms. SIM solutions like Splunk is one of them, ArcSight is one of them, Alien Vault is one of them. Okay, and if you're talking about some firewalls, so different type of firewalls I'm talking about earlier, DLP solutions, TF solutions, sandboxing solutions. So these are some, if you're just talking about this job descriptions, you will easily get 25 to 30 lakhs if you have understanding about all those point of view. So I'm just talking about some more things about for it, my dear friends. So how comfortable you are into all of them, it is the matter of fact that, okay, if we're talking about some more certifications programs here. So what I'm trying to prove it here, because first of all, you where you are right now and what you're going to achieve it, this is very important prospects. So if you just take a look here, this is a Security Plus program, okay, a Competia Security Plus. I will let you know that all sort of details, because what do you understand about threats, different type of threats, different type of viruses, different type of VAPT sort of things. We will talking about all those things. But before, you need to understand which things you're going to do. So Security Plus, Competia Plus, and the network securities, compliance and operation security, threats and vulnerabilities, applications data and host security, access control and identify management, and cryptography. That is why I am going to be ask you the first question is my in this particular session, that what is your strength, what is your weaknesses. But I am just, you know what, and the Parneet is talking about some, you know what, MPLS, OSPF, or different top of light routing protocols. But but I am not expecting some, you know what, cyber security things, like you're talking about some, you know what, risk management programs, incident response programs, threat intelligence, cyber security threat intelligence programs, okay. And I'm talking about some NIST approach, and I'm talking about some ISO 27000 approach, I'm talking about some PCI DSS compliances, all things sort of things. So the Security Plus program is one of them. CSSP also, Certified Information System Security Professionals, also, and CISA is one of them. CISM is one of them. Okay, so once you have done one of the course, any one course, and then you have getting a good idea that what is all about. Okay, so the security risk, compliance, laws, regulations, business, and continuity plan. So we have different type of prospects for the, you know what, if we're talking about the security. So you just, if you are the advanced for the security, you just go for CISM, CISA, or SRIC, or CSSP, or if you are the, you know what, starting your career, you go for the Security Plus or CS certified ethical hacking programs. That is really good for you for the future. So we have just talking about some different certifications. We have talking about some different type of structures. I'm just going about, you know what type of knowledge you have right now. Okay, so this is a Deloitte. Deloitte is a company, you know that very well. It's a security, you know what, providing auditing sort of things, and also providing security sort of things. So they are suppose they are going to hire some network security auditing person. So what they require some business risk. Why should you secure your external systems, privacy matters, and securing customer data. So I before we going further into this, I would like to know that from your side, what is privacy, and data security? What is the difference between two things? Anybody will going to be answer me. Data privacy versus data security.
Hello, sir. Sir, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Data security in the sense, like files which are.
Your voice is not audible.
Can you hear me now, sir?
Yes, I hear you. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Data security in the sense like maintaining the security of the data, the confidential data, like some of the official documents which are maintained in the office sort of things, and data privacy in the sense uh, securing the personal data.
Sir, can I answer?
Yes, please. Yes, please go ahead.
Sir, correct. Okay, privacy means you have access for only some people. Secure. I mean, privacy means you have only for one people or so. Securing means it is not accessible for anyone. Maybe.
Okay. What of security? What about the
Sir,
data security?
data security. Data that is not. I mean, it's very secure data. It's not available for anyone. Privacy means it is only available for certain people.
Okay. So as per this, if talking about some data privacy, so data privacy, suppose individual informations is not going to be leaked outside. Okay. Suppose you are the person and you're going to join a company and your Aadhaar card informations, your debit card informations, your credit card informations, and your health informations. This is your privacy of your data. Okay. And if you're talking about some data security, so data security is
Passwords.
overall security, complete
Passwords.
security.
Okay.
So data security is a big, is a tree, and privacy is a branch. So PII, personal identified informations, PII informations. Okay, the HR, Human Resource Department are going to be carrying all your privacy data, individual informations. Okay, and data security, if you're talking about, so it's overall all the data of the company, like backup, restoring of your sales data, finance data, HR data, IT data, okay, everything data. And if you're talking about some information security, so information security about all the information about your company, whether it is data of your company, whether it is privacy data of your company, whatever, every information is assets for the company. So what type of assets I'm talking about here? I'm talking about here is, you know what, trademarks, patents, copyrights, trade
Intellectual
secrets. Yes,
intellectual
intellectual properties, tangible assets, intangible assets. But whether we're going for the security of informations, so it's the intangible assets, your copyrights, your trademarks, your patents. Okay, and once we're going for the information security, how are you going to implement a data security, or how do you going to implement information security in the company? If somebody will going to ask you the question. So first of all, you have the data available. You have to categorize the data. I'm going to talking about here. It's a confidential data. First of all, you need to categorize the company. Okay, it's a government data or it's a private data, like corporate data. So if I'm talking about the government data, like your defense,
data priority. Yes, sir.
okay, military of data. So data priority sort of things, you know that very well. How the military data or your defensive deals data is very confidential data, very sensitive data. So you require so high security implement on the data. If we're talking about the corporate data, it's a sensitive data or it's a public accessible data. So as per the data, you're going to be categorized as per the requirement, and then you're going to provide the security. So securing customer data I'm talking about. So what are the different things you're going to implement into the company to securing the customer data? Any ideas you have? What are the internal threats? What are the external threats for the same?
Hello.
Yes, please go ahead.
Sir, firewall is the main thing, as well as intrusion detection or intrusion prevention systems can be implemented. And the log management, load balancers also is because main thing, because whenever the data is being stored, and if it is not if something happens and the server gets down, the load balancer plays the main role when means able to handle the load of its customers or the users of the company. Example, we can take a Facebook. It might be having lots of prevention systems, and they might be having the firewall as well as this their own servers, right? If these servers will be connected to this load balancers, so the load balancers as well as plays the main role, as well as the incoming and outgoing traffic, and they will be having separate what we say separate entry point for their own employees. It will be different, and for the outsiders or the real customers, means like us, the common people. That will be different. That's what I think so.
Anyone else you would like to share something into this? Yes, I understand, but this is your one things you're talking about only firewalls, or this is your gateway level security sort of things.
Yes, sir.
But in this, you know what, in the security point of view, we have different type of security, my dear friends.
Network design is
Actually,
also
One
very
thing, it's
important.
not only one thing.
Mm.
Because in the gateway level security, you're going to secure your networks. Okay, I understand. You're going to
Okay.
provide some informations over there, and you're going to procure all those things.
Yes.
But the matter of fact, the fact that what about the different things?
Okay. Any example, sir?
Yes, I will going to show. So this is asset. Okay, asset security is one of them. So you need to provide some security controls. What do you mean by security controls? Security controls over physical devices. Security controls over administrative management. You need to provide some access controls. You need to
Ah, yes.
check it out the different type of threats, and you need to provide some technical controls.
Okay.
So this is a directive controls. You're just talking about right now as a security point of view. You told me, sir, we're going to implement some firewall. So firewall is a preventive, only one thing. Talking about only one thing. This firewall is. So as a security professional, you need to be say, sir, we're going to implement some physical controls. We need to implement some technical controls. We need to implement some administrative controls. And then you can going to say that in the technical controls, we're going to implement some directive controls. What do you mean by directive controls? Standards, baseline, guidelines, policy. You need to write down some IT policies. Okay, you need to set some standards for your company. Suppose Pradneet is going to do some ISO 27000. This is also the standard in information security management system is required. You require some deterrent controls, encryption, violation report, warning banner. You require some preventive control like multi-factor authentications, MFA, 2FA, 3FA, access control list, IPS, IDS, firewalls, account lockouts, encryptions, detective controls like logging, SNMP, IDS, HIDS, NIDS, network intrusion detection systems,
Yes.
host-based intrusion detection systems. You require some corrective controls, isolate, terminate, connections, update access privileges, patching and updating, recovery controls like RAID 5, backups, recovery systems, functions, rebuild, compensating controls like clustering, high availability, virtualizations, the redundant power, backbone, software scale. Okay, you require some inward access controls like your radius, TACAS. Okay, we can say that mandatory access controls, data owners, rule-based access controls, rule-based access controls. Okay, disaster recovery plan, disaster or business continuity plan. Okay, so there are number of different things you're going to implement, my dear friends, not only one thing. So that is why I'm talking about cyber security is a very vast domain. You need to be understand each and every point. So the administrative controls, the policies, the guidelines, regulations, laws. That is why somebody is going to for the ISO 27000. Okay, some companies are going with the PCI DSS, payment card industries. Like suppose the Pandit is going to open a company, the debit card, credit card information is required for the customer. So your company should always be compliant with PCI DSS. Ramurthy is working on a healthcare based domain. So HIPAA compliant company is required, HIPAA. Like Jijo is working on a manufacturing sort of companies, FISMA. So different type of talking about directive controls we required. Okay, so this is NDA, non-disclosure agreements, separation of duties, warning banners. Okay, job rotations, log reviews, mandatory vacations. So these are the part of a CISSP. These are some part of the CSAM, CSP, security controls. So this is all things you need to be understand. Okay, and if you talk about, if you not going to implement all those controls, then what are the different threats? So this is the phishing attacks, spoofing attack, IP spoofing, MAC spoofing, DNS spoofing, DSCP spoofing, shoulder surfing, brute force attacks, advanced penetration tester, DOS attacks, DDoS attacks, dictionary attacks, phishing, wishing, identify threats. Okay, so we have different type of threats will be there. So as a security point of view, as a security point consultant, you should be provide a solution architect, solution engineering sort of things. Suppose you are going for the interview and they will going to ask you that if this problem will be coming, what type of security controls, how are you going to prevent your data, how do you going to prevent your informations? So you have all the information will be available. So like directive controls, return controls, preventive controls. So physical controls, if I'm talking about here, so you can going to say we're going to, locks, gates, man traps. Okay, some detective controls, sir, we were going to implement some CCTV cameras. Okay, the dogs, the fire exhausters. So the matter of fact, security is a very big thing. You need to be understand all of things. So internal threats of your internal employees are going to perform like your L2 threats, layer 2. In the layer 2, what is the layer 2? It's your switch level security. So you need to apply the port level security, MAC binding, because most of the employees are, they will going to be hack your Wi-Fi inside from your company. Suppose you're working on the wireless devices. So as a security professionals, you need to be sure that what type of password, what type of hashing, what type of security, the MAC binding, different things you're going to implement for the layer 2 security. So for the external security, so you're going to implement some IDS, IPS, you're going to implement gateway level security, application filtering, you need to provide some zones, LAN zones, WAN zone, demonetized zones, different type of zones you're gonna be create into the firewall. You need to implement some DLP, data leakage preventions. Okay, you're going to implement some email management. You need to implement some mobile device management. Okay, then we talk about network basic fundamentals, defined types of networks. You guys know that LAN, WAN, PAN, whatever. OSI model, 7 layers. You know that TCP/IP, the stack. Okay, three-way handshake models. You have basic understanding all those things. Attacks and penetration overview, open source testing methodology, and how to use methodology to strategically align audits. So before we go into the penetration testing, we need to go for some vulnerability assessment. In the vulnerability assessment, what are the different what vulnerabilities you find out into the application side? So OSCP you're going to use it. OSWAP 2017 you're going to use it. First you will going to do the vulnerability assessment and find out the different type of threats, and then you will going to implement some penetration testing after that. So this is the basic things you need to be understand, my dear friends. If you're aware about it, it's okay. It's not, then you need to work on it. Then we're talking about some footprinting, finding a company's internet presence, freely available informations or website, TMI, too much informations. At discovery, how are you going to discover the networks? How are you going to discover the application vulnerabilities? So you should be, working on the different type of tools, techniques, skills required. Suppose I'm going to ask you a question regarding that. How do you going to trap the TCP/IP packets? Which software and how are you going to perform it? Somebody will going to say that what type of port, if which ports are open, which ports are closed, how where I can say all those ports, and what is the port numbers. Okay, And somebody will going to say that the discovery methodology is how do you going to providing auditing tools? How do you going to perform a tools? So at least you have understanding about the different tools like NASes, Whiteshark, Nmap, ZenMap, Advanced IP Scanner, Advanced Port Scanner. Okay, so different things you're going to understand. So if you are working on a in the cybersecurity platforms, you should be a very good understanding about the Windows platforms, Unix platform, Linux platforms, or different operating systems. Suppose I am talking about some IP tables. So what do you mean by IP tables? Anybody will going to answer me?
Sir, the tables which we use, which are used for a router, in a router we have a routing table. For example, the hops, number of steps, I mean the process in which the number of hops, for example, the table is used for routing, sir. The table, routing table is used for routing between the routers.
I'm talking about, sir, only operating system side, not from the routing side. The Windows, Linux, Unix side, there is a feature will be there. IP tables is a firewall of Linux environment. The command.
Hello.
Okay, so we need to understand the sudo command. Okay, sudo command. Okay, IP tables command /etc files /user profiles. So and different type of permissions into the Linux platform. So you should be good understanding about how to create a files, how to create a directory into the Linux environment. And you should be very good understanding about the Windows platform. Okay, how do you going to uninstall the Internet Explorer into the Windows 10? Any ideas? Have you ever going to be uninstall the Internet Explorer into the Windows platform? Windows 10, Windows 8.1, whatever. Internet Explorer, you need to be uninstall it. How are you going to doing it? What is BitLocker into the Windows environment?
BitLocker Vault, sir. Security Vault. Sir, can you hear me?
Yes. What security vault is all about? Yeah.
It is like a security vault.
Okay, so I'm talking about here in the Windows platform, my dear friends, you need to be, encrypt your drive. Okay, encrypt your data into the drive. So BitLocker, you're going to use it. Okay, then we're talking about some perimeter or DMZ design concepts. So what is the use case of DMZ zones? Anybody will going to be answer it? What is a DMZ? What is the use case of DMZ zones? We understand LAN zone, WAN zone, VPN zone, SSL VPN zone. We have some DMZ zone as well into the firewall. What is the use case of DMZ zone?
DMZ zone is where we will have our own servers, sir. Like if we are maintaining a web server or an mail server, so these servers will be kept in the DMZ zone, that is demilitarized zone. So from there, we will be hosting a public IP address using sir, using DNS. We will be hosting a public IP address, so which will be kept in the DMZ zone of our network.
Okay. But guys, I will let you know that you guys need to be, work very hard. Okay, in the cyber security domains, they require the expert persons. Suppose I'm going to show you some, this particular job roles. Okay, so they require the expert person in the cyber security. Okay, which have the good understanding about the technical aspect. Why they require the technical best efforts? Because you need to be analyze the data. You should be very expert, very intelligent to know that what are the root cause of the issue is all about. Okay, and that is why you need to understand into the SIM solutions, source solutions, TCP/IP, OSI layers, okay, some IDS IP solutions, and different things. So my what concern is all about you, that you should go always with the very depth into the technical things, because once you're going to understand the depth of the concepts of the all the technical aspects, then you will got the job very easily, because cybersecurity is a domain where different type of domains. I'm going to show you that what type of different domains, but you should be very expert. You should be very advanced knowledge about all those concepts. So demonetized zones, first of all, it is going to be used for your servers. Okay, suppose the traffic coming from the outside to inside, and the hacker is going to be going to do some session hijacking. Okay, or they will going to do some man in the minute attacks. They will going to happen. So the attacker will going to coming inside, and then he will going to attack all of your networks. So that is why we have separate zones we're going to create for the web servers. So the hacker is going to be hacked on the web servers, one or two servers. But right now we're going to implement some F5 load balancers, LTM devices, uh, lightweight traffic managers, local traffic manager, big IP, F5 load balancer we're talking about here. Okay, so this is things comes to the picture. So we have separate zones available for your public accessible data from your web servers. That is why we're going to create some DMZ zones. Simple things is. So once you're going to provide the answers, you should be a logic behind it. You need to understand the concept, the logic behind it, why it is happened, what is the use cases of this. Because in the interviews they will going to ask you the use case. Have you ever worked on it, or yes or no? You are going to say yes, I have worked on it. What is use case of DMZ? Where we're going to implement this DMZ? Okay, so this is the requirement of all those things. Firewall options, I'm talking about different type of firewalls options available, different vendors available, different features available. So if I'm talking about some VPN concepts into the firewall, this is a very important prospects. So guys, what do you know about the VPNs? Why it is required? Types of VPN.
So VPN is a virtual private network which we use by business people. I mean, top level executives, top level business executives to hide their IP address from the rest of the world and to connect to the people whom they want to.
Okay, that's great. So it's not about the high profile people. I'm an engineer. I'm going to use VPN to access the data from my server. I'm not a high profile user. Then it doesn't require your high profile things, sort of things, and it is also that doesn't require to hide the things, because if you're hiding your IP address, you're going to use the network address translation netting, not you're going to use for VPN.
Sir, hello.
Yes, please go
Can
ahead.
you, sir, it is a virtual. See, it's a virtual way of connecting to the outside world. It is not hosting our own IP address. How it is like when a data is being when our IP address reaches the router, okay, and there comes the VPN. If there is any VPN is being means there is some VPN tables or they might be having, okay, we will be our IP address will be embedded with that network, and that IP address will be um, going out to the outside world. So the person who is checking our when we try to hit some URL, okay, through the using VPN so on, they will be able to get our VPN address, not able to find our means our own address, like a tunneling kind of stuff. So there comes the VPN. I think so, sir. That's what I have a rough knowledge. I'm not that much clear about it.
Yes. Your concept is clear, but it's not going to the depth into the technical things I'm talking about here. Okay, I understand your point of view. Your logic is clear. I know that the use case I understand, but if you're talking about into the technical perspective, like okay, suppose you are in front of your interviewer, so your concept is clear. He understands that you know that VPN how things gonna working, but he required some technical prospects on the point of view of the VPN. Okay, so the VPN, if you're talking about some, we have two types of VPN: side to side VPN and remote side VPN. Okay, so side to side VPN, suppose we have one side in India and one side in the US, and okay, we have same branches. So what we're going to do it, we have to create a VPN. So what do you mean by VPN? We have, what required some gateway. Suppose I'm going there, so I require the IP address. Okay, the gateway IP address. So I'm going to create the VPN into my firewall. Okay, so secured communication between the two sides. All the data will be encrypted format. Okay, so the this is the, what, VPN will be the phase one and the phase two things. Okay, and we going to use some algorithms of encryption. Okay, we're going to use some pre-shared key into the same. We have some going to use some, what, different type of what, algorithms of encryptions. RSA 256, SSH 256 is one of them. So phase one, phase two, different type of encryption algorithms. Data will be, what, going with the source to destination in an encrypted format. That is the use case of VPN, the side to side VPN. So most of the cases, the 90% you're going to create some side to side VPNs. Sometimes you need to create some SSL VPN. Sometimes you're going to create some MPLS VPN. Sometimes you're going to create some remote side VPN. Okay, so if you are working into the cybersecurity domain, you should be expert into the VPN. You should be expert into the Osi layers. You should be expert into the firewall. This is the mandatory things required, because once you're going to work on into the security domain in a security operation center or network operation centers, it is a mandatory requirement, because the firewall will be available. Yes, it will be available, and also the DLP solutions will be available, endpoint security solution will be available, mobile device management security operation available, switches, routers, switches, firewalls, everything will be available. So most of the issues will be coming into the VPN. Okay, so we will going to do a separate class for the VPN. No problem with this.
Sir, I have a question. Sir,
Yes,
regarding basics of security, what is the best source to learn the basics of very basics, sir?
I am the source. Don't worry about it, sir.
Not like that, sir. I mean, some reading material, some reading or something like that, because you're always there. But after that, before that, if you answer, if you say once, we don't digest in our brain. We need to read twice or thrice like that.
Okay, no problem, no problem. I have everything. Don't worry about it, my dear friends. This is the, what, I have created 3 or 4 drives. Okay, I have created 3 or 4 drives. You're just going to find out each and everything from there.
Okay,
Okay,
sir. Okay.
I'm going to share to you this one. So you're just going to find out each and everything, okay, into this. I'm going to share to you this one. Okay, so the all firewall knowledge, agile approach, ISO 27001, security career, ITAL, CISA, CISM, everything you have. Forensic investigations also I'm going to provide you. Security bits also I'm going to provide you. So don't worry about it. I'm going to provide you each and everything.
No, sir,
This
these
is
are all are advanced kind of things. No, sir. Before that, I need to understand some base. We need to understand some basic level. Without that, how can we go for advanced level? I don't understand.
yes, I will share to you step by step. Don't worry about it. I'm going to share to you some basic things and then step by step advanced things. Okay. So this is the this is the basic things. This is the slide I'm going to share you today. Just try to study this particular slide. I'm creating for those guys who's just going to be beginner. Okay, just starting their career into cyber security. So what is hacking? What is cyber security? What is ethical hacking? What is different WannaCry types of hackers? Okay, types of hackers is VAPT, vulnerability assessment, penetration testing. What is the difference between two things? Okay, so vulnerability assessment and types. So I'm just going to take only what your performance, your evaluation only. Okay, so as per your understanding, your knowledge, I'm just going to create a strategy for you where you are right now and where I have to providing all the informations. So I have number of things for you. Don't worry about it. The basic, advanced, the books, everything I have. So I'm going to analyze today that what type of knowledge you have, and then I'm going to provide you some basic to advanced knowledge. Okay. And apart from this, if you're talking about some cyber security point of view, that we have, this is the thing. Okay, this is cyber security domain. And if you just take a look here, my dear friends, so in the cybersecurity, security operations, threat intelligence, risk assessment, framework and standards, career development, identity management, and security architecture. So what you're going to do it, once we're going to study more into this, then we're going to go into this first of all slide number 1, this one. And in this slides we're just talking about some CIA tried, we're talking about some risk management. This is I'm going to share to you today. Okay, so in this, just I'm talking about some CIA tried. We just talking about here different type of CIA tried and IAAA, like your, I'm talking about here identity and access management. I'm talking about it, authorization, accounting, auditing, identifications, authentication, authorization, auditing, and accounting. So we have different things available, my dear friends. I'm going to share to you each and everything. Okay, security governance programs. Okay, and different type of controls. Okay, so this is finding controls, security controls. Okay, and what type of different type of organizations planning strategies they were going to create. Okay, the companies are going to create some strategies for IT strategies. So this is what, very advanced knowledge I'm going to provide you step by step, basic to advanced knowledge, so that you're going to be understand all the structure. Like if I'm talking about, suppose you're working in a company and you require some strategic planning, technical planning, okay, and operational and project planning. So at the same times, your technical skills, your govern or your management skills, and your offensive and defensive skills, and security architecture and designing, all things will be covered into the same all of the same time. Okay, let's move into the second into the particular slide. So uh, firewall options. So VPN is one of the concepts you're going to be working. Okay, guys, and auditing for common vulnerabilities and risks like patches, hotfixes, and updates. So I would like to know, guys, from your side, if you have faced any, ransomware attacks, any systems, and what are the reason behind it. Any ideas you would like to share to me, sir? This is the ransomware was happened, and that was the reason behind it. Sometime back, there was attack on the Twitter. Sometime back, there's a company named Contingent. It will be attacked by the some of the hackers. So how do you going to be updated all the time in the security? Because if you're working in the security, you should be, updated till the time what was the different type of attacks will be happen previous week, previous year, previous month. So the ransomware attack was up because what happened, just because of the systems are not up to date. The patches was not updated. Security patches was not updated. Okay, so then somewhere what happened, that it will going to be encrypt your drives, it will going to encrypt your systems. Okay, and then they will going to ask some money in the Bitcoin format. So as a security professionals, you should be expert into this. What are different type of threats in the market right now? How are we going to perform these threats? Different type of attacks. It is How are you going to track the systems? How do you going to track the IP addresses? So independent security assessment, vulnerability management applications, vulnerability management applications. So you should be, basic understanding to advanced understanding about all those things which I'm talking about into the same. So this is 300 number of cybersecurity questions I am going to ready for you. Can you name some of the emerging cyber threats? Can it walk me through economics of the cyber security? What security conferences you have participated over 14, 24 months? What are the core principles of information security? CIA tried. Okay. What's an acceptable level of risk? If the acceptable level of risk, what do you mean is all about? Residual risk. What is the difference between threat and vulnerabilities? Can you give me an example of common security vulnerabilities? Okay, so I'm just going to share to you this particular questions, the cyber security 300 number of questions is going to be answered from yourself. How comfortable you are. How do you know about all the informations to you? This is the cloud security. Why are so many S3 buckets breached? Why does it take so long for organizations to move their workloads on the cloud? Can you name the advantages of cloud-based databases? If you are good in network security, then this is the questions for you, my dears. What port does ping work over? Yes, any answers for the same? What
Sir,
port does 96? What port does ping work for over? Any answers you would like to recommend to me, sir? This is the port numbers. These are service names. It will gonna be working on the ping.
I think so. TCP, sir.
No, it's not correct. The ping is always working on the ICMP packet.
ICMP.
Okay, so just trying to say this question to yourself that if you're working on the security point of view, how do you know about it? Can you explain us with top 10? How would you secure a databases? So I'm just going to share to you this particular things and just try to figure out from yourself that how do you know the answers? What is a DDoS attacks? What type of security flow is there in the VPN? List a couple of tests that you would have a network and identify flows. How do you ensure that the design achieves regularly compliance? Okay, so I'm just going to share to you. Just try to figure out all those answers from your side. That would really good help for you into the interview cracking. Okay, the cryptography or all those things. Okay, then we have some different slides as well. Okay, cybersecurity fundamentals course. Okay, we have another thing is cybersecurity fundamentals online course. Okay, so explain the core informations assurance IA principles. So I would like to know from your side, you know that CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Give me some examples of CIA. Yes, anybody will going to be answering me for the same? What is CIA? What is examples of all of them?
See, confidentiality in the sense maintaining the
Only
uh,
examples. If you're talking about the confidential data, this is the example. Integrity and examples. And availability, this is the example. Anything?
Sir, hello.
Yes, please go ahead.
Sir, as we know, I just talk about as the office-based kind of stuff, sir. Okay, where this CIA is being implemented. Okay, fine, sir. Actually, in a as far as my company, as I am working in a security surveillance industry, confidentiality is like a patent. See, if each security companies or surveillance companies have their own makes as well as their own way of approaching password reset kind of stuff, or how these things communicate with P2P kind of devices. These are the confidential data of the company, kind of intellectual companies, intellectual data. Okay, that is where maintaining those things is the confidentiality. Okay, of confidentiality of the organization. Okay, and integrity, how all these things like the customers, as well as the customers, how they use our products, how these customers data are being maintained with our servers. Those kind of stuff comes with the integrity with the organization, means the integral approach of the customers as well as with the organization comes integrity part, as well as the availability of our resources. Like if our company has some kind of servers, we have DNS servers, or we have our DDNS, our own DDNS servers. So how these customers are able to access this services, or DDNS services. So this customers will not get any kind of lagging. If our server goes down, they are not able to avail their data, the data which are stored in our servers through the DDNS services. So I think so. These three are the CAA triads which plays in the organization. I think so.
Yes, your point of view is correct one, but the matter of fact that still I'm waiting for the correct things in the technical way, because if you're working, if you're going for the interviews, then they will going to ask you that yes, your point of view is correct, you just demonstrate its right way, but the matter of fact that suppose if your data is confidential, what things you're going to implement? Simple.
Sir, can I want to say one thing. Sir, confidentiality means the data should be confidential. The integrity means the data should not be changed. The quality, I mean, the data, if the data is changed, then the integrity, it is not, the integrity, it's, I mean, questioning the integrity means the data should not be changed, and that and availability means the when we access the data, that should be immediate, it should be available, and um, maybe
Hello,
just
sir.
Okay, great.
Confidentiality in the sense the access for the data should be limited, like providing some authentications and providing some credentials for the higher people, so that only a particular group of people, authorized people, can access the data, makes it confidential, which
Okay.
makes the confidentiality. And integrity, in the sense like how trustworthy the data is.
Okay, great.
So integrity in the sense accuracy and trustworthy of the data. And apart from that, the third thing, availability in the sense how, like providing uninterrupted service, like 24/7 service, like we are providing in IT sectors. For example, in network, we used to provide 24/7 uninterrupted services. Even if there is a drop in the connection, immediately we have to respond it. So like that, availability round the clock.
Okay, but fantastic. So the matter of fact that guys, we're talking about some CIA tried. Okay, this is confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So if you're talking about what examples sort of things, so how you make your data is confidential? You need to provide some encryption. You require some multi-factor authentications, MFA, because suppose you are working on a system and your password is not confidential, it's leaked outside. Somebody will going to be guess your password. Okay, dictionary attacks will be happen. The input tables, they're going to use it. Okay, and you know what, the shoulder surfing has been done. So you should require what confidential your data of your information of your password. You require some multi-factor authentication, MFA. What do you mean by MFA? MFA is three-factor authentication, two-factor authentications. Something you know, something you know. It means you know the password. Something you have. What you have? You have some biometrics. You have some phones, mobile phones. The OTP will be coming to your mobile. You have some RSA tokens, hardware tokens. You know that RSA, Cisco RSA tokens. The code will be generated. Okay, so something you know, something you have. Okay, someone you have, someone you know, because your biometrics, your fingerprint sensors. So if your data is confidential, so it requires some multi-factor authentication sort of things. Data integrity. In the data integrity part, we require some encryption. Okay, because once source and destination, suppose you're going to send your data India to US location, and data will be going to be modified by any man in the middle attack will be happened. The session hijacking has been done. Okay, and somebody will going to do some SQL injections. The cross-site scripting has been done. So you required what encryption sort of things, so that your data will be remain same. You require digital certificates. You require digital signatures. If you're talking about some data availability, how your data will be available all the time? If you have taken the backup, okay, then you will restore your data at any point of time. So CIA tried, you need to be understand with examples, use cases, each and everything in more thoroughly. So if you just take a look into this particular cybersecurity fundamentals course, you should be understanding about the attacks, different type of attacks, the red team attacks, blue team attacks, different type of attacks. The blue team, the purple team, what they are going to doing it. Risk management, security architecture. So identify the key components of cybersecurity network architecture. So the networking architecture, if you're talking about here, you should guys need to understand in the networking different type of ports. What is a port number of FTP? What is a port number of DNS? What is a port number of SSH? How do you going to find it out? Your port is open or port is closed? How do you going to be capture your traffic of your packet? Packet capturing tool. You need to guys work on the Wireshark. You need to guys work on the Nmap. You guys need to work on the advanced IP scanner. You guys need to work on the SIM solutions. So the cybersecurity is not easy, my dear friends. It's required your skills. It's required your knowledge. It's required your concepts. And all those things in very core of the heart of the technical things. So apply cybersecurity architecture principles. So the matter of fact that if we're talking about cybersecurity frameworks, so NIST frameworks you need to adopt it from US. Describe different classes of assets attacks. Define types of incidents including categorized response and timeline and responses. So the matter of fact that guys, if you are working on a cybersecurity point of view, you should be understanding about all those things, each and every domain understanding. I'm talking about here where it is right now. So there's a SIM solution use cases. These are some free tools available for cybersecurity, like Blue Team. What they are going to do it, like Blue Team and cyber defenses, the penetration testing, different tools will be available. Digital forensics and incident response. So suppose you have basic understanding to advanced understanding, then you guys need to work for the digital forensics. Like I would like to give you some examples like that. Suppose any cybercrime will be happen anywhere, and you are the cybersecurity expert as a forensic investigator, and you need to find it out the cyber crimes what happened actually. So the digital forensics person, what you going to perform over there? You need to capture some hard drives. You need to check it out some RAMs. You capture some data. You need to capture some systems. And once you capture all those things, and what you're going to do it? How do you find it out? How do you going to be, say that this particular evidence is admissible in the court? So digital forensics you need to be understand, and we have some processes for the digital forensics. We have some type of different type of process. How going to do some digital forensics? So before you're going to do the digital forensics, need to understand about the certified ethical hacking, the cybersecurity things, how the data will be captured. Suppose you say, sir, the data is captured on the hard disk. The data is also captured into the ROM, read only memory of your systems. Okay, and suppose you will go for some digital forensics. So the timestamp is very important. Which timestamp, what things will be there? This is very important to understand, my dear friends. So what the red team, what is the blue team, what are different tools you require for blue team? Okay, so just going to click on it, and then that will be open for you. Okay, so digital forensics, this things I'm going to provide it to you. Okay, and describe the new and emerging IT and ICE technologies. So suppose Pandit, you have done some ISO 27000 ISMS things. So how many number of domains into the same, and how many number of annexures into ISO 27000?
Sir, according to my knowledge, there are 18, sir. 18 annexure A1 to A18. In which some controls are mandatory. For example, from A4 to A18 are mandatory controls that to be implemented to get ISO 2000 certification for any company.
Yes, you're right, but the matter of fact that we have 114 controls.
114 controls, yes.
Right?
114 controls.
Okay, so we have some categorized into the annexures, all those particular domains. So as per the applicability on the company, we need to apply all of them. Suppose this company doesn't apply this particular annexures, this one, so we don't have to apply all of them. So as per the use case of the company, we need to apply the security controls. So as in this talking about security architecture principles, SAPSA, Jackman, TOGAF. So you guys know that TOGAF, COBIT, ITAL, anything? SAPSA, Jackman, TOGAF, COBIT, ITAL, COSO, PCI DSS, HIPAA, anything, NIST, ISO 27000, yes, you know that little bit of, but you require more information on the same as per the information security point of view. Okay, no problem. I was just going to help you out all of them. OSI models, I think you have basic understanding about all those things. So in the OSI models, if I'm talking about here, the segments are at which layer? Anybody will going to answer me? Segments.
Sir,
Yes, please go ahead.
sir, can you repeat the question once?
Segments are going to be transferred. Okay, segments are created
Okay.
at which layer? In the OSI layers. Frames are created at which layer? Bits and bytes at which layer?
Frames are in
Bit, bits and bytes are in physical layer, right?
Okay, good.
Frames are in layer 2, sir, maybe.
Okay.
segment are in layer 4, sir.
Yes, you just providing the answer. It's too late, my dear. Interviewer not will wait for you. So OSI layers, please study OSI layers. This is very important prospect. Okay. TCP, OSI layers, UDP, TCP, and UDP difference. Anybody going to answer me? At least two difference.
UDP and UDP and TCP.
Yes.
Transmission UDP is UDP means it's compared to the post office where we don't have any reply for that. TCP is transmission shake, I mean two-way handshake protocol.
Sir, may I? No.
Sir, am I correct or wrong?
Sir, can you hear me?
Tell me again. Come again, please.
So TCP means two-way handshake two-way handshake which we have, but in UDP we have a transmission. I mean, there is no handshake. I mean, there is only one-way transmission. Is control is compared with the post mail. I mean, just
TCP is only three-way handshake, my dear, not two-way. Three-way handshake.
Okay.
Let me tell you.
Okay. And UDP, there is no handshake. There is no acknowledgement.
No, not a
No,
GPS.
okay.
Okay. And
And
TCP is reliable and UDP is not reliable.
not reliable, yes.
Like TCP is connection oriented and UDP is not connection oriented, as TCP has acknowledgement and UDP does not have acknowledgement, sir.
Yes.
And one more
So,
thing, error
yes.
check and error detection so on is not there in UDP. Because if there is any failure in TCP, the data transmission will be checked by the fragmentation. The packets of data will be checked by the fragmentation process. In UDP, there is nothing. If there is any error, it is just like it will be terminated. It will not be continuous, right?
Okay, that's true. That's good. Yeah. Then firewall features, issues, types, platforms. Just try to figure it out. The firewalls, networking, the ports, protocols, VPNs. Okay, so going to study about the application security. OSWAP 2017, just going to study risk assessments. So risk assessment. I would like to know that types of risk.
So there are various. I mean, from two. There are various types of risk. For example, inventory risk, physical servers risk, software, hardware risk, software risk. I mean, hardware program. I mean, hardware program risk and software risk and theft, theft of. For example, they say the server room access can be controlled. The key for I mean, the access to the server room and the different types of.
Yes, yes. Yes,
And
you have basic, but it's not correct the things you're talking about here. So the risk, you know what, risk management are the two type of you can categorize qualitative
And
risk and quantitative risk. Okay, and qualitative risk is basically subjective, difficult to track, no dollars for the cost benefits. Okay, so the quality this you can say that is there any earthquake is coming, okay, and tsunami is coming, okay, and there is any natural disaster will be happen, and due to this any disaster will be happen, then you cannot say that this number of dollars we have got some destroyed, like corona 19, covid-19, how much disaster will be happen due to this. We cannot judge on the dollars based cost benefits. We are not sure about it. It's a a natural disaster. Is a pandemic. Okay, so the qualitative risk are there where we cannot going to be track how much loss in the cost of money. Okay, we cannot know that. But in the quantitative risk, time consuming, needs lots of data. So the matter of fact that quantitative risk, we know that how much loss we have. Suppose you're working in a company and 2 hours are lost for every day due to the power failure on the company. So in the 30 days in the month, and 2 hours will be lost every day. So 60 hours will be lost by the employees in the 1 month. So you can going to be calculate for annually 72 720 hours will be lost. So 720 hours will be lost for the company. So how much cost you gonna be provide to the per employee? So you are going to be track all those informations at the same point of time. Okay. So the quality and quantity risk. Okay. And then we need to understand, my dear friends, as a security platform is assets. What are different assets? What is threats? What is vulnerability? What is safeguard? How to going to be calculate the risk? This is the things required. So what are the steps to analyze the risk? Assign value to assets. Estimate potential loss per threat. Perform a threat analysis. Derive the overall annual loss potential per threat. Reduce, transfer, avoid, and accept the risk. So you can options available. You can reduce the risk, mitigate the risk. Okay, you can transfer the risk, you can avoid the risk, and you can accept the risk. These are the some what steps you're going to be perform for the risk assessment. Okay, so this is intellectual property, patents, copyright, trademark, ships. So for 20 years, 70 years, and 10 years for your trademarks. So this is the what intellectual property we're going to save it after. So once you're going for the threat intelligence or threat modeling, in the IT security threat modeling, you need to be check it out what are assets we in the company. Okay, so just figure it out all those things informations, and then what you're going to be get some more informations like that. We're going here again. So business continuity plan, BCP. How are you going to create the BCP plans? Bring your own device. So if you're talking about the business continuity plan, I'm just going to go into this, and then we're going into the security operations, and then you find it out. Business BCP plan and disaster recovery plans. So all together, I'm just going to share all those things to you. No problem with this. Once we're going further into this, so you have good understanding. Business continuity plan. This is very big things. Okay, this is very big things. It looks like very simple business continuity plan, but it's very, number of things. So what are different steps of business continuity plan? The NIST 18-14, develop BCP, conduct BIA, business impact analysis, ID preventive controls, develop recovery strategies, develop contingency plan, test and writing exercises, maintain plan. Then select interviewers, create data gathering techniques, ID critical business functions. So there are a number of things, my dear friends. This is your business continuity plan and this is your disaster recovery plan. Hot site, warm site, cold site. Okay. Trump recovery time objectives, how long? Recovery point objective, how much data lost? MTO, maximum tolerate outage. So once we're going for the security operations, in security operations, change management, contingency plan, business continuity plan, media controls, power, there are a number of things we will going to study into the same. And different type of evidences is also there. Okay, so we have going to review all those things, but I will tell you, you require some more classes, you require more time into the security because you should go for the basic fundamental to advanced things. You have ideas, but you don't have the technical ability to, clear any interviews till now. Are you agree with my statement or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So idea is different thing and technical knowledge is different thing. So you should require more technical knowledge, require some more classes, more different type of training so that you can going to be analyze all those things.
Sir, actually, to be frank, I
Okay.
am expecting that.
Sir.
Yes, please.
Actually, from my side, I am expecting that only, sir, because towards the technology and other things, I don't have much exposure.
Mhm.
So that is what I want, sir. Since
Yes,
I
yes,
am,
sure.
even though I was in technical field, I was working in educational institute only, sir. So a lot of
Mhm.
technical stuffs I lack.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about here. You guys have basic understanding how things this, but you guys don't have the, going to clear the interviews and you don't have the technical informations right now. Anything. Even OSI layers is also not clear. I'll tell you honestly. If I'm talking about the single mode, multi-mode, fiber optic cables, the cables color code, or I'm talking about the different type of speed, you don't know. So I will just going to provide informations to them, and then you say that we require some more classes, at least 20-30 classes regular basis, so that you're going to cover all those things which I'm talking about today. Okay,
Okay, sir.
I have different things available, right? For the job security point of view, but you should guys need to work on it. Cybersecurity audit ISACA, okay, auditing, rules, audit, defense, because you required more, advanced knowledge, cyber attacks, objectives, identity and access management, authorizations, accounting, key, change management, patch management, network security, architecture, designing, remote successes. So you should need to guys work on it. I am going to say that it requires some more classes, more into the depth, into the all informations. Okay, and I'm going to share all this particular questions to you. So try to study all those questions and try to figure out all the answers if you have, if you have, right?
Okay, sir.
Sir, are you saying us to brush up our basics? I did not clearly understand.
Basics. If I'm talking about honestly, guys, yes, you have ideas about everything. Okay,
So we
but
need to
you don't
brush
have.
up our basics, right?
Yes, yes, sure, sure.
So
Basic
that,
is required first of all.
okay, sir.
Basics also technical. Okay, if I'm talking about the
Yeah,
firewall,
basic
you
technical
guys,
knowledge.
yes, basic to advance,
Yeah.
right? First of all, basic knowledge, everything, and then I will go for some advanced things like in the firewall. We will going to work on the technical, okay, on the practical things on the firewall. practical on the Wireshark, practical things on the Kali Linux, practical things on the VAPT, vulnerability assessment, penetration testing.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so once you have knowledge, logic, and technical, practical knowledge, you can going to clear the interviews, right?
Hello, sir.
Yes, please go ahead.
If I want to start from the scratch, from where I have to start, sir?
I'm going to, you know what, we have left in the the cloud security previously, right? In 40 slides.
Sir, actually, we have left in the cloud security, that is 40 slides in the previous class.
Yes.
I am asking about from the scratch, sir. Means
Yes,
from
yes,
the
in the
start.
scratch. Yes.
So from where should I start? I think cloud security is somewhere higher when compared to myself. That is where I am miss from the scratch. I am asking, sir.
Yes.
So from where I have to start, and can you guide me through that?
Yes, sure. We are going to from the scratch because first of all, you guys understand the basic knowledge to advanced knowledge. So basic like what is networks? Okay, network security we're talking about. Okay, and then we're going to small things like application security, cloud security, wireless security, system security, mobile device security, endpoint security solution, DLP solution. So step by step, we'll going further. So don't worry about it. We are going with a scratch, okay? And you understand all those things which I'm talking about today into the 2 hours. We will going to study each of them, okay? And I'm also going to help you out into the interview questions and answers, so that it's really helpful to you,
Okay, sir.
okay? So any
Okay.
questions, you're just going to be ping me on my Skype ID. So thank you very much for your time today. And yes, we'll go further. Thanks for some new things from the scratch.
Okay,
Okay,
sir.
guys?
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you for your time. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir.